My beloved seventh graders, welcome to the seventh week of our online learning. How was last week? How was the quiz? Hope you passed. Hope you've been able to do your revision. Please, if you think you've not passed properly, do your revision, then prepare for the next. Now, without wasting our time, let's go into the topic for the day. We shall be treating major scales, tetrachords, tones, and semitones this week. I repeat, we shall be discussing major scales, tetrachords, tones, and semitones. Now, we all know what a major scale is, so we shall be knowing what a tetrachord is. I'm very sure most of us have also come through tones and semitones. Okay, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to one, define tetrachord. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to define what a tetrachord is. Secondly, you should be able to describe tones and semitones. Yes, at the end of the lesson, you should know what a tone is and what is a semitone. Then finally, you should be able to identify the positions of the semitones. Now let's run through them again. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to define what a tetrachord is. You should be able to describe tones and semitones. Then finally, you should be able to identify the positions of the semitones. Let's start with asking ourselves, what is a tetrachord? What is a tetrachord? Now, the diatonic major scale with 8 notes can be divided into two equal parts. That means your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It can be divided into do, re, mi, fa, and sol, la, ti, do. Now that's the two parts, each containing 4 notes. For example, C, D, E, F, and G, A, B, C. Now, when divided into two halves, C, D, E, F into one group and G, A, B, C into another group, the group of 4 notes is called a tetrachord. In summary, when you divide a diatonic scale, diatonic major scale into two, it now becomes 4 notes in one group, another 4 notes in another group. Now, this group of 4 notes is what is described as a tetrachord. A tetrachord is a group of 4 notes. Usually, the first half is known as the lower tetrachord. That means your do, re, mi, fa is known as the lower tetrachord, while the second half is the upper tetrachord. That's the sol, la, ti, do is known as the upper tetrachord, while do, re, mi, fa is known as your lower tetrachord. I hope you understand this. A diatonic major scale with 8 notes can be divided into two equal parts, each containing 4 notes. 4 notes C, D, E, F in one group, G, A, B, C in another group. Now, when divided into two halves, C, D, E, F into one group and G, A, B, C into another group, the group of these 4 notes is what is called tetrachord. So you can define it as a group of 4 notes. A group of 4 notes. And we're told that a tetrachord has a lower tetrachord and an upper tetrachord. Remember, a lower tetrachord and an upper tetrachord. And the lower tetrachord is from the low notes. That's do, re, mi, fa, which is C, D, E, F. And the upper one is sol, la, ti, do, which is G, A, B, C. Okay, let's proceed. This is a C major scale. A C major scale, just a graphical representation of what we just talked about. A C major scale. Now you're going to find out that the note, the tonic started with C. So it is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's a scale. Just a simple diatonic major scale. Now look below the other diagram there is a tetrachord. Now you're going to find out I started with C, D, E, F. That's one. See, it's called first tetrachord. And the second one is G, A, B, C. And that's the second tetrachord. Second tetrachord. So remember, we said tetrachord is a group of 4 notes, and we have a lower tetrachord and the upper tetrachord. So that's what the second diagram is trying to portray for us. Now I want you to also take this into cognizance. Major scale contains 5 tones and 2 semitones. 5 tones and 2 semitones. It follows each tetrachord contains 2 tones and 1 semitone. 2 tones and 1 tone and 1 semitone, sorry. Now look at, from C to D is a tone, from D to E is a tone, and from E to F is a semitone. Hope you understand. From C to D is a tone, from D to E is a tone, while from E to F is a semitone. Now check the second tetrachord, that's the upper tetrachord. It has from G to A is a tone, from A to B is a tone, while from B to C is a semitone. So that's why we're told that each tetrachord has 2 tones and 1 semitone. 1 semitone. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Semitones, semitones, semitones. I'm sure we must have come across this. Semitones, tones and semitones. Now I want you to pay a close attention to the scale first. Then let's explain. There's what is called the tone structure. The tone structure. The T represents tone, while the S represents semitones. So the tone structure is tone, tone, semitone. Tone, 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 semitone. Tone, tone, semitone. Tone, 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 semitone. So now I want you to carefully look at the scale. Carefully apply the tone structure to the scale. That is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, where T stands for tone and S stands for semitone. Now you will observe that from C to D is a tone. Remember, I will say tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So from C to D is a tone. From D to E is a tone. Then from E to F is a semitone. Remember, you must always meet 2 tones before 1 semitone. Then in the next step, you meet 3 tones, then 1 semitone. So from F to G is a tone. From G to A is a tone. From A to B is a tone. From B to C, you know what it's going to be, because we said it's tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So from B to C is a semitone. So these are the tones and the semitones in a scale. The tones and the semitones in a scale. You know that from C to D is always a tone. From D to E is a tone. From E to F is a semitone. From F to G is a tone. From G to A is a tone. And from A to B is a tone. And finally from B to C is a semitone. I want you to have this at the back of your mind. They are called natural semitones. Anywhere you see a semitone, it's a natural semitone. From C to D is a tone, but something can happen to make it a semitone. So we'll come to that later. Now let's look purely at semitones. Let's look at semitones. Now you will observe that from the scale of C major above, from the last slide, two manual semitones are shown between the third and fourth, then the seventh and eighth degrees. That's from E to F. From E to F. You know, E is the third degree, so the third and the fourth, then the seventh and the eighth. From E to F and from B to C. Now, you will observe that from the scale of C in the previous slides, two natural semitones are shown between the third and fourth and the seventh and the eighth degree. Now, a semitone is the smallest interval between any note and the next note. I repeat, a semitone is the smallest interval between any note and the next note. That's from A to B. The smallest interval between them is a semitone, and we know that two semitones make a tone. So from A to B is a tone, or two semitones make a tone. So from A to A sharp is a semitone. Then from A sharp to B is a semitone. So when you add both of them, it becomes a tone. So the smallest distance between two notes, a note and the next one, is known as a semitone. Is known as a semitone. Now, it could be either high or low. It could be either higher or lower the scale. For example, E to F is a semitone, B to C is a semitone, as seen here. E to F is a semitone, while B to C is a semitone. Then finally, apart from the natural semitone areas, semitone can also be obtained by either raising or lowering the appropriate note. For example, if accidentals are applied to tones, it could result to a different kind of semitone, not natural semitone now. So, for example, if a sharp is added to C, it becomes C sharp. So the difference between C sharp and D becomes a semitone. Okay, so I just want you to know that apart from natural semitones area, semitones can be obtained by either raising or lowering the appropriate notes. Tone, let's look at what is a tone. A tone, on the other hand, is an interval containing two semitones, as I said earlier, containing two semitones. So I told you two semitones make a tone. A tone, on the other hand, is an interval containing two semitones. Now, a major scale has 5 tones which occur between the first and second, the second and third, fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh degree. A major scale has 5 semitones which occurs between the first and second, that's C to D, the second and the third, that's D to E, then the fourth and the fifth, that's F to G, F to G, the fifth and the sixth, G to A, the sixth and the seventh, which is A to B. I repeat it again. A major scale has 5 tones which occurs between the first and the second. Now look at C to D. The second and the third. The second, which is D, and the third, which is E. The fourth and the fifth. The fourth, which is F, and the fifth, which is G. The fifth and the sixth. The fifth, which is G, and the sixth, which is A. The sixth and the seventh. The sixth, which is A, and the seventh, which is B. Now those are the areas where you can find tones. The other intervals, you can only find semitones. Now this tone and semitones arrangement leave the structural pattern of all major scale as tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So if you see any scale, you know it's going to be built in this structural pattern. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Finally, a quick recap of what we've just learned today. Now, the students were taught the following. 1. Definition of a tetrachord. Definition of a tetrachord. I'm sure we all saw this today. We said that the group of 4 notes is referred to or is called the tetrachord. We were also taught the description of tones and semitones. Description of tones and semitones. Description of tones and semitones. When we talked about the tone semitones, and we talked about the where you can find the tones and where you can find the semitones, and we also told the definition of semitones and tones. Finally, we were taught how we were taught identifying the positions of the semitones. Identifying the positions of the semitones. Okay. We said you can find the semitones between E and F, then B and C. So with that, we've come to the end of today's classes. Please do your best to always go through the lessons, then try and get back to me if there's something you don't understand. My beloved 7th graders, I don't want you to lose your attention in your studies. Please, I need you to be the best you can be. Try your best and see that you study and do your class activities. Thank you.